Alright, we have a green light. And hello all. Welcome to the... And hello all. Welcome to the... And I'm getting reflection because I'm hearing myself through Twitch. Sorry about that. Welcome to the 49th multiplayer live stream test for Rank War Master. And yes, I will eventually get it together. So today's little new and fun things is hopefully this time the OBS doesn't seem to have a cow, and I can actually have it record the stream better. Last time the stream really came through horribly. Once we sort of got into it, the whole thing kind of fell apart. Meaning he's kept pausing and stuff like that, and even though I wasn't seeing it, I only saw that it was a mess after I got to look at the recorded video. I was like, yeah, great. Okay. In any case, today we're going to show that all of the buildings have been PBR'd, although they're not striped yet, but we'll get to that. The other main thing is we kind of have a color picker. Well, we don't have a color picker. We have a progress to randomize the colors. And I'll tell you what I mean by that in a minute. So if I go new game, and let's go to campaign. And in honor of Sherwood, I will bring that up just for ha-has. We'll leave the two enemies there. So what the main new thing is, and Matt, we really should hide the Omni Ball when it goes to the corporation. So it should be kind of like that. So the big change, change my name here, is that we should be able to select the logo. There's a certain set of these. I guess I'll take this one. And we have a series of colors off to the right here. Now, the first one's most to represent your primary, the next one's supposed to represent your secondary, and the last one's an emissive color. We don't have a color picker thing yet, and so what I've been told is I just randomly click on this, and it goes into, yeah. So I guess you never turned off the overlay stuff. So yeah, that was a problem. So I can't demonstrate it because the credits overlay is still there in the background, and I can't not click on it. But generally what normally would have happened is I would click on that and it would randomize different colors. So yeah. Matt, do you have any, I'm assuming because you tested this, do you have any particular spot over here that I can click that won't trigger the other thing?
I was not able to find one.
Alright.
Unfortunately.
And I can't demonstrate that. Okay. But when it works, that's what's going to be. You'll actually be able to pick the color, and we'll get a better color picker up there. And it crashed. This is why we don't do changes right before a demonstration. I'm going to try to... I'll try to go into the corporation screen without trying whatever that was, and if that doesn't work, I'll go in through the other way and we'll show the updated buildings. I have a save game that I've been using for testing purposes anyway, so we don't have to wait that long. And for your reference, as some of you know, this is all black because it's loaded in the pictures yet, and it's loading them all in. I do that for debugging. When you're playing the production version, it forces you to wait for all the pictures to load. So as you can see, the random colors are different. They're more of a purpley paisley color this time. Select the logo, just for Haas. It should be able to select the logo. Before, there you go. And we'll go done. Actually, okay. So I should have a node right beside me. There he is. And there's the builder bot. So I'm going to go into the nav screen. And then I'll find Mr. Builderbot, and I will start to tell him to start to build stuff. Well, here's something I did not check.
Orders received.
So, I found that there was a lighting issue in the shipbuilder screen. I wanted to show you what the new PBR buildings actually look like. See, much more coppery color.
Building complete.
So let me just tell it to start doing its thing.
Orders accepted. City power low.
Now, as you can see, you can probably look at it from previous videos and see how different these things look. I mean, you can see how the light reflects, and how you can see different edges in there based on the reflections and such, which simply did not exist there before. And if you look over here, same thing with the research center. Also, it's much different. I mean, the shape is the same,
Complete.
of course. But if you notice, it's has a much more realism to it. Get a warehouse up.
Orders received.
Get the. I'm just having a day today. So we'll get that researched up. So that comes in fine. You can definitely see that the PBR is running on that properly. And it's running properly out here. I just have to check to see how the other thing's populated. Now again, you can see the coppering on top of the warehouse.
Complete.
I know that's very dark. You can't see that easily, but I'll go to my fighter. And I forgot, the fighter doesn't have lasers anymore. Of course they don't. So,
Task complete.
I did want to show you an update that I did to the one of the bigger ships. So if I go into shipbuilders for Oz, and I bring in this ship, should hopefully have it. Yep. You notice we have a blue and yellow texturing, and it's kind of shiny. So you can definitely see the edges on that. If I bring in the old Builderbot model, you can see there's how the paint comes across now. Much more realistic. And even the coloring, the copperiness on the edges here. Now, one of the big things I really wanted to show, which since, oh, I should actually have this here. So if I hit my little magical key of funness, let's see if we can look here, the colors should change. And it won't work on this key, I gotta do it here. So now let's see if it works. Yep, there we go. And so what you can see is the primary colors and the secondary color changed. So if I keep hitting it, it'll keep randomizing, which is ironically what we should have seen in the corporation screen. So now we have a red with a weird cyan blue here, for example. So again, if I go back to the shipbuilder screen, and you can see Should be able to see the differences here. I guess not. I guess it really is on a different chain then. But if I made a ship that was made using this, the colors would change. Well, this is why we do these tests. So let me build out an entire city so you can see what this all looks like. Although ironically, the AIs are probably much further ahead.
Research complete.
And so maybe we should go over there and just look at what they have. And let's build one.
Orders accepted.
Now, one of the other minor fixes that I did was, you see where the node is? It used to have problems rotating around. When I would do this, it would just kind of go flying elsewhere. And now that's fixed. Not that big of a deal, but there you go.
Research complete.
So you should definitely be able to see how different this is, if you can see from previous videos. Again, you can see the coppery is kind of what we're kind of going for as far as the look goes. You're going to have to see how the metal and everything else stands out. Now, a lot of these
Building complete.
buildings are going to be updated with coloring stripes so that you can see whose they are. That's one of the changes that's in process. Currently, we only have that really running with the factory and the reactor. I believe it's on the Paul's.
Research complete.
Sure thing. Working on it.
I'll have to check in the changes that I did so you can use that as a baseline. But updating a lot of meshes takes time, as you might well imagine. So yes, you saw sort of preliminary of this last game session, but it takes time, and there's been other fixes and such. We are working on a new trailer, and so expect that probably.
Orders received.
And I really wanted to get
Research
all these
complete.
buildings and such updated so that you had... Yeah, there's no point in doing a new trailer if you're in the middle of updating all the graphics. You want to update all the graphics first and then do the new trailer.
Task complete.
Alright, I think that's all the main ones that we have. Everything else is just... And it crashed. Let me guess. It picked a... No, set in spaces. Did the request still? Let me guess. It's ship.ship, isn't it? Yep. Capital ship. Always does it to me. Yep. We have to figure out what that trim thing is that's taking out the name for the request and fix that once and for all, or just rename the damn file. Yeah, I know exactly what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the save game that has the complete city built instead of waiting for it to be built. And so we can actually see kind of all the updated buildings. Alright, so probably this one. Good job, Arthur. Okay. So this is me demonstrating from last time how we can just change the colors of the different ships and such. See how it looks over here on this particular ship. And switch out the colors and the emissives and stuff of that nature. Let's get something a little bit more interesting. Kind of purpley and whatever. But now we look down here, you can see more of how the here's the refinery and its visual improvements. I'm gonna start shooting things, and so I don't want to accidentally blow things up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off my missile launchers because that's gonna shoot. But now I can actually fire my beam weapons, and you can see what that looks like. So that's a much different look. And again, here's our mining facility. So everything's very shiny now. I think the last time we definitely showed off how the factory ended up looking. Now, one of the most recent changes that this got the other day was the actual reactor building. And so now its own internal glow is really reflecting very well off of all the copperiness that's there. Which we see from the lighting. It's a nice blue lighting. The only thing I might request, Paul, is that the windows that are very black, we should change them to something else that's a little more glowy or something.
Okay.
Just so that, I mean, they're obviously windows. Let's make them look like windows. You know,
Right.
I know you have some missives in different spots, but I don't know what would work. But yeah. Now I admit with this. Go ahead. What's
I'll
up,
play
Paul?
with that some more.
Yeah. So this is how the research buildings came out. I kind of like how the copper kind of came down. I think that some of the buildings, it's turned up too much, and so they become too dark. This I was running at 75% rather than 100%. So you might want to consider that with some of the other darker buildings.
Okay.
But yeah, no, again, I still think this came out pretty well. So, what one am I missing now? I guess it was just the warehouse. The warehouse is a good example that you really can't see that much. I mean, I notice a difference, but it's not as prominently obvious as the other ones. Now, that was actually from the original designer from way back when. So I'm going to light it up. I think this is an example of I want to redo the top coat because it's a little dark. So I might lower it to 75%, but it wasn't as easy just sort of to change it, so I might just do it myself. Or when you do it, maybe you can do it. I mean, it's there, but probably it's not very reflective. Versus what all the other buildings are. So it's just... I mean, it's a warehouse. I mean, it's only going to be so sexy anyway, but yeah, it's just one of those things. So yeah. Those are more the major changes. I will say, as I mentioned before, that if you really want to see what the new ships end up looking like with PBR versus not, I'm going to do a very quick comparison on that to give you an idea. So here we have an example of a particular designer and how it came out. So you can see, okay, this doesn't look too bad, right? And that's what we've been running for probably the past year and a half, as far as what this looks like right about now. But you can definitely see kind of how that looks and the shininess and things of that nature. But when you look at its compatriot, also by the same artist, it's a very different look. Meaning where the metal comes through, how shiny the cockpit is, and even the texturing and such. It's a very, very different kind of look between that and this. And this just does not have the same look to it at all. And so that's what I meant by we're upgrading all the PBR-ness of it. So one of the big things, as I mentioned, I changed this out the other night. And you can definitely see much more of the, certainly the metalness for the coloring that we were doing. Because it was already white, I kind of toned down the normal mapping on that to a certain point. And here's the, as you saw last time. You can definitely see how this looks versus what it looked before. Again, you probably look up in the previous video that was not as... This didn't have the stuff that popped. I mean, you didn't have the emissives from the side panels here. It didn't... Yeah, it was shiny. Yeah, you had normal mapping, but it just didn't look the same. It just... This looks a lot more like something. And that's kind of the treatment that we're going to be doing to all the ships and objects in the game over the next few weeks to a month. Okay. That was the main things I wanted to show as far as the PBR advances and such. So like I said, none of these videos don't have to be really, really massive. So any questions, comments, or anything else? Alright. Then we'll cut this here. And thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time, and hopefully we'll have some other changes. I'm trying to work on the AI and such like that. We'll see what kind of progress I'll get in the next 2 weeks on that. But see you next time. Bye-bye all.